Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Alumni Spotlight, the segment where we interview with past alumni to see where they are now. Today, we are here with Carla. Introduce yourself to us, Carla.
Hi, I'm Carla Ziegelman-Field, and I am excited to be here talking to you Osaka students today.
Glad to hear it. So, what year did you graduate from Osakas Public Schools?
I graduated in 1997.
All right. So, did you continue your education beyond high school?
I did. I got my bachelor's degree from the College of St. Benedict. I majored in biology and chemistry. And from there, I went to Michigan State University to get my PhD from the Department of Molecular Biology and Biochemistry.
All right. So, what are you currently doing for work or a career?
Currently, I work at a company in St. Cloud called Microbiologics. I am an R&D scientist. Prior to this, I was still at Microbiologics, but I was the technical manager, and that was more of an administrative role that I had moved out of.
Alrighty. So, did you always know what you wanted to be? When did you know?
I always knew I wanted to be in science. I love tinkering and doing experiments, and my aunt was a scientist, so I always thought that was really cool, and I guess it's been always.
Alrighty. So, what are some of your favorite memories from elementary and high school?
My friends and I had a lot of fun. I have this one picture where my friend has me picked up and is pretending to throw me in a garbage can because we were fooling around at lunchtime, and we just had a lot of fun. So it was a good place to be.
Mm-hmm. So, who are some of the most influential people for you while at Osakas Public Schools? Why?
I think I'm going to have to say Mr. Ryan. I think he's retired now, but he was a science teacher and then he became the elementary principal, but he taught, I think it was life science and earth science and chemistry, and he was the chaperone and coordinator for the Science Olympiad program. I was in that, and he was great and made science so much fun. And he really did encourage me to go into the field.
Alrighty. So, what do you see yourself doing in 10 years?
Well, I could move to another company or get another job, but I see myself doing a very similar job to what I'm doing right now. I really enjoy what I'm doing, and I have fun when I go to work every day. So that's important to me.
All right. Glad to hear it. So, last question here. What advice would you give students finishing up high school?
I have to say, really put a good amount of thought into what you want to do. And it's not just, this would be a job where I'd do really well. Think about the fact that you're going to be spending 8 hours of every workday doing whatever it is that you do. So find something that you're passionate about, that you're going to enjoy, and don't be afraid to go and ask people questions, whether you talk to your parents, your friends' parents, your favorite teachers, your aunts and uncles. Talk to a lot of people, ask a lot of questions, and really put a lot of thought into what you think you might enjoy doing.
All right, well, that's some good advice right there. All right, well, that concludes our interview with you today. First, we'd like to thank you, Carla, for being interviewed with us today. And next, we'd like to thank all of you for watching another episode of Alumni Spotlight. Bye! Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Alumni Spotlight, where we interview past alumni to see where they are now. Today, we are here with Keith. Introduce yourself to us, Keith.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keith Michelson. It's a pleasure to have the opportunity to speak with you all today.
All right, glad to hear it. So, what year did you graduate from Osakas Public School?
I graduated from Osakas Public School in 1988. 88, we are great.
All right. So, did you continue your education beyond high school?
Yes, I did. I first went to North Dakota State University to receive my Doctor of Pharmacy degree and graduated from NDSU in 1994. After graduating from NDSU, I practiced as a clinical pharmacologist at the Mayo Clinic for about 7 years in the intensive care unit. And then I decided to go on for even further education, where I got my Master of Business Administration degree from University of Minnesota, graduating in 2002.
Alrighty. So, what are you currently doing for work or a career?
Yeah, that's a great question. Thanks. So as I mentioned earlier in my career, I was working as a pharmacist in the intensive care unit at Mayo Clinic. And then I transitioned from that, got my master's in business, and decided to go on to get work for a pharmaceutical company, where now I'm responsible for identifying new drugs that have been discovered and working with those companies to see if they would be interested in either allowing us to acquire rights to those new discoveries, or acquire the company altogether and further the development and commercialization of those drugs. So it's really about trying to identify new treatments for cancer on the one hand, and then working with the company from a business perspective to see if there's a way that we can collaborate to bring those new medicines to patients.
Yeah, that all seems like a lot of fun. So,
It is.
did you always know what you wanted to be? When did you know?
No, that's a great question. I think it's important to, for those that are watching the interview today, is that you don't always know right away what you want to do. When I was in high school, I was not sure where I wanted to go, but someone in my class suggested that I pursue my interests. And at the time, I was very interested in science and mathematics. And they suggested that pharmacy or medicine might be a good career path for me to consider. And that's what I ended up doing. I guess I made that decision in my junior year of high school and pursued a path in pharmacy. But it wasn't until I worked several years in the intensive care unit that I decided that I wanted to further change my career and explore a different side of my brain, perhaps, in business. And so ultimately, I was able to find a career now that leverages both my scientific side of my brain and my business side of the brain, hopefully to identify new medicines that will help treat patients with cancer. But I didn't know it until, I sort of had gotten through some steps of my career. And I think it's important for people to follow what their interests are, and your career will define itself.
Alrighty. So, what are some of your favorite memories from elementary and high school?
That's another great question. I have so many great memories of elementary and high school. It's really hard to pick a few, but I will fondly recall going to, as an elementary student, going to varsity football and basketball games, and really seeing the whole town and the whole school rally around those teams. Those were some really great memories in my early years. I also, of course, loved snowmobiling. I grew up snowmobiling with friends and family, from a very young age, all the way through high school. In fact, there were times where we would ride our snowmobiles from home into school in the morning, go to school, and then after school we would go to basketball practice, and after basketball practice we would drive our snowmobiles home at night. So that was always also a great memory. And then I would say one of the other important memories that I cherish from my high school years is just the opportunity to learn with my classmates. There were times where we struggled together, and there were times where we conquered together in the academic setting, and I really appreciate and enjoyed those times. They helped define who I am and help me learn about teamwork. And then the final memory, of course, would be winning our homecoming football game my senior year. It was a great time to sort of cap off what had been an excellent elementary and high school opportunity for me at Osakis.
So, who are some of the most influential people for you while at Osakis Public Schools?
There were many people that were very influential while I was there at Osakis. First and foremost, I want to thank my parents for giving me guidance and direction over all of my years. Without them, I wouldn't be where I am today. In terms of people from Osakis, the school itself, there were several. The first two that I would mention were a couple of my math teachers, Mr. Ranham and Mr. Emerson. Both of them had a big impact, really challenged me to learn more about math and to become a better person. So those were two very influential people throughout my academic part of my career. On my sports side of the career, I would say that Mr. Walsh, who was our athletic director, and Mr. Paterka, who was my track and football coach for a time, and then ended up going on to become a superintendent at Osakis. Those two were both very influential, not only from the sports side, but also from how to be the right Keith, how to be the right person, and how to strive for excellence in all parts of your life. And then finally, I would mention Mrs. Lang, who unfortunately recently passed away. But she was my art teacher and really showed me a different side of things. There was the academics, the athletics, and then she really taught me more about the arts and how one can use other creative ways to, either as for a career or for enjoyment, personal enjoyment and hobbies. And I still very much enjoy throwing pottery and drawing and painting, and that's because of the influence that she had. She also gave me great tips on what's right and what's wrong and how to treat people with respect. So many people had a big impact. Those are just a few.
All right. Well, it's good to know that you've had many influential people in your life.
Yeah.
All right. So, what do you see yourself doing in 10 years?
It's a great question. I'm currently continuing to advance in my career. Hopefully, 10 years from now, I will have reached the pinnacle of my career and be one of the key executives at a company that strives to make a real difference in the world. I'm currently working for a pharmaceutical company that is in the business of discovering and developing new medicines for patients with cancer. It's a very rewarding endeavor, and hopefully I can continue to grow within that organization and help to direct it as one of the key leaders of the company.
All right, so last question here. What advice would you give students finishing up high school?
Yeah, it's a great question. A lot of different tips that I could give, but I think some of the most important are to pursue your passions. Do the things that you really enjoy doing, and the things that you're really good at doing. And if you can sort of just follow that and follow the things that you really enjoy doing, your career will define itself, and you'll enjoy your life. And then I guess I would also say just love your life and love who you are, and love those that are around you, and enjoy the moments that we all have together. It's a short life, so make the most of it.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, that concludes our interview with you today. First, we'd like to thank you, Keith, for being interviewed with us today. And next, we'd like to thank all of you for watching another episode of Alumni Spotlight. Bye.